everybody, I am Sally with OwlCrate Jr. and I'm here today with 5 middle grade recommendations based on our February 2021 Write It Down theme. As of this recording, this box is available for new subscribers, but if you're watching this after February 20th, 2021, you can head over to OwlCrate.com and check out our shop for past boxes. I'm so excited about this theme. The main character in our February book takes a lot of solace in having a diary just as a place to unload his feelings, and he have them be totally private and just his own, but just this place to get it all out. And I think that that's such an important lesson that we all have. That writing doesn't need to be just for homework or an assignment or something that is going to be put out in the world. It can just be for you and a way to sort of sort through things and just get them out of your brain. So for this video, I've put together a list of 5 great recommendations that feature characters that use writing or drawing just as a creative outlet. And they all use it in totally different ways, so I'm excited about this list. The first one on my list is Harriet the Spy by Louise Fitzhugh. This is such a classic. It was written in the 60s. It really still stands the test of time in most ways, I think. So in Harriet the Spy, our main character is Harriet, and she keeps a secret notebook that looks a lot like this classic black and white, like drugstore style notebook. And she observes everyone around her, neighbors, schoolmates, family members, and keeps very detailed observations about them. But not just observations, some of her observations are quite personal and nasty. And eventually this book gets found by somebody. And then she has to reckon with all of these personal thoughts that she hoped would never come to the light of day suddenly being out in the public. It's really funny. Harriet's really funny in all of these observations, but it's also a really great book about friendship and about what do you do when you have hurt other people and you then have to face the consequences. How do you heal that hurt? How do you make that better? And it's great. It really holds up to this day. Next one on my list is New Kid by Jerry Craft. This is a graphic novel. The second one has actually come out within the last year. It's called Class Act. New Kid and Class Act are the story of 7th grader Jordan Banks. He is an artist. He wants to be an artist. It's how he spends all of his time. It's what he loves to do. He really wants to go to art school, but his parents have decided to send him to a prestigious private school that is quite far out of his neighborhood. And he is one of the only kids of color in the whole school. So both books examine or just talk about what it's like for Jordan, and his way of documenting it is through art and through comics. So the whole book is the graphic novel he's writing as he goes along, and it talks about sort of having to be 2 different people in 2 different places. You know, both with the like rich white kids at his school and then the kids that he grew up with back in his neighborhood. And the fact that he doesn't want to be there. He wants to be in art school, but this great opportunity for him to be at this prep school has come along, and so his parents said, you have to at least try it. It's so great. He's really funny. You obviously get to see things exactly through his eyes, and then he'll go off on some sort of fun graphic novel things that wouldn't happen in real life, but he's drawing as he goes. These are definitely must-read graphic novels. I don't care if you don't think that you like graphic novels, I think you'll like this one. The next one on my list is The Night Diary by Veera Hiranandani. The Night Diary takes place in 1947. India is newly free of British rule, and has just been split into India and Pakistan. Our main character in The Night Diary is 12-year-old Nisha. Nisha is half Muslim, half Hindu. And during this period of time, there was a huge amount of tension between the Muslim and the Hindu populations in India and Pakistan. A lot of conflict was going on. And so suddenly there is this divide in the country and Nisha doesn't know where she belongs. So Nisha's hometown, which is now in Pakistan, her father decides it's too dangerous for her family to stay there. So they flee as refugees. They leave for India. And the whole story is told through letters that Nisha is writing to her mom, who actually died when she was a baby. But she uses these letters as a way to speak to her mom, even though she may or may not actually be hearing what Nisha has to say. It is such a beautiful story of finding a home and finding identity, and even though it is set in the late 1940s, there are obvious parallels with all kinds of people who are experiencing displacement from their homes today. So it's such an approachable middle grade book, but really hits on some big topics. And I love a book told through letters. Next up is one that I loved as a kid. I read this one over and over again, starting probably around the age of 11 or 12. Yeah, definitely one that rereads really well. That is Catherine Called Birdie by Karen Cushman. This one came out in 1994. It is set in 1290, so quite a long time ago, but I loved how relatable it was. And I loved Birdie's voice. It is a story of 14-year-old Catherine, or Birdy as she is known by her friends and family. Despite the fact that she's only 14 years old, her father is determined that he is going to marry her off to the wealthiest suitor, basically. And she will have none of it. She starts to keep a diary on the recommendation of her brother, and at first she doesn't really want to do that either, but it ends up being this place that she turns to, that she can talk about when no one else is going to listen to her. And she pulls pranks, and she just does everything that she can to dissuade these older men who, for some reason, want to marry her from wanting to marry her anymore. She pulls all kinds of funny pranks on them. This one probably does read a little bit older. I might not recommend this one for an 8-year-old, for example. There's definitely some minor old-timey cursing. I think God's thumbs is the worst of it, maybe, but she definitely she lets it all go on the paper, which is what this box is all about. But it's fantastic. Another one that definitely stands the test of time, and it's very fun to imagine this girl so long ago feeling the same things that 12-year-olds still feel today, I'm sure, in many ways. The last one on my list is When You Reach Me by Rebecca Stead. This one, I do not want to give too much away because it unfolds so beautifully. But I'll just give you the briefest snippet if you weren't familiar. It's about 6th grader Miranda. She's living in New York City in the late 70s. And out of the blue, she receives a message, a note one day. And she has no idea who sent it, but the notes keep coming, and it becomes very clear that whoever is writing these notes knows her very well, and they are telling her to do things. But it's this wonderful mystery that unravels. It's definitely one that sticks with you, and obviously involves note writing. So I had to include it on this list. I don't want to tell you any more because it's such a great one to discover for yourself, but definitely check it out if you haven't already read it. And finally, I would be remiss, I think, to leave Diary of a Wimpy Kid off of this list. Jeff Kinney sort of started this whole new genre in middle grade that has spawned so many other fun series like Dork Diaries and many others. But there are so many of them, and we've gotten to see Greg grow up. And yeah, if you're looking for inspiration for a reason to keep a diary of your own, Diary of a Wimpy Kid is a great one, and it's gotten so many kids hooked on reading, and I love it for that. And they're still coming. There's another one coming out this year, I think, and we're meeting new characters, and they're getting their own spin-offs all the time. So I couldn't do a write it down roundup without including Diary of a Wimpy Kid on there. So those are my 6 recommendations based on the write it down theme that we've put together for February. I cannot wait for you to read our February book. This is a little bit of a departure. The write it down part sort of just pulls from one element of the story for February. Like I said, it's something that really helps the main character, is to just write his feelings down. But the book is actually so much more than that as well. It's a fantastic mystery, and it's a little bit scary, a little bit spooky maybe, but more just kind of unsettling in the way that history can be sometimes. But it's contemporary, and it's got a otherworldly twist to it, and I think you're really gonna love it. I hope that you do. As I said off the top of this video, if you are watching this video before February 20th, 2021, we have lots of boxes still available for subscribers. And if you're watching after February 20th, you can head to OwlCrate.com. We'll link that below, and you can check out our past boxes shop and pick that up. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like it, give it a big thumbs up and subscribe for more bookish videos. And happy reading!